Jimbo Fisher is out at Texas A&M. But if you are Jimbo Fisher, you just might not give a fuck. Because Jimbo Fisher is going to receive a record buyout of $76.8 million. $76.8 million.
It's crazy, bro.
Not to work.
That's crazy, bro.
Not to work. While I got that going on, okay, we also have Ole Miss's Lane Kiffin. Audio done been leaked of him, going off on that defensive tackle, with the mental health thing and everything like that. And
what was it? Was it actually him? Because what threw me off was they kept saying the dude kept saying the head coach. That's what he calls himself by third person. He is I and I am him.
Maybe so. I don't know.
The head coach, like, did I miss that?
Maybe
Man said the head coach. The head coach been trying to get in touch with you for 2 weeks. Whoop whoop.
They're saying that Lane Kiffin. Okay. And Lane Kiffin on the audio, tells the man it's over with. Talking about you kicked off the team. But the thing that stood out to me in it was he asked him what world is he living in. Yeah. That kid thought that he just could not say anything to the head coach and not come to work.
Yeah.
And I guess Lane Kiffin trying to show him that ain't how the real world works. So we need to talk about what the hell is the real world in college athletics? What is it? Because I so can't relate to nothing that's going on right here when it comes to what Jimbo Fisher got going on, when it comes to what Lane Kiffin has done in his career. You know what I'm talking about? And his name is bubbling with this Texas A&M job. It's out there. It's out there. Okay. So we got
no way.
We got a lot to discuss right here, T. We gonna handle it as only we can, okay? But before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I am your homeboy first. There's my brother Tim G. Jacob, the honorable one, and this is the realest, most entertaining show in the game. Put it on something again. Hit that subscribe button, share. Hit that like button. Put all your people on it. T, I know Lane Kiffin is your boy. I know that's your boy. That's an inside. That's a family. That's a family joke right there, bro. That's a family joke. Okay.
Yeah, he my boy.
And I know we've been talking about Jimbo Fisher for a minute now. You probably didn't call that this was gonna happen eventually, and I was like, bro, I don't know. That's a lot of money, but the white folks never cease to amaze. Okay, but what are your thoughts on both instances, dog?
The first thing I want to go back to, and I'd have to go back to the article I read about Texas A&M's NIL structure. It's like they were trying to get ahead of the curve with the NIL stuff and the way they structured their methodology of paying players and things. And it's a big process. It's a big program. It's a big thing. The AD Ross Bjork is like, they've had a, how do I put it? It sounded like some mastermind type stuff, how they were going to go about bringing in the best talent.
Mm-hmm.
And they've sat down at the table and they figured out how we're going to be ahead of the curve on this, which is probably why Saban said what he said about the whole NIL thing and that type of stuff, because I want to say Texas A&M had the number one recruiting class last year.
At that moment when he said that, they had the number one, and he was trying to light a fire up on them Alabama boosters. Like, y'all see what them boys over there doing? Where y'all at?
So understand that the Texas A&M NIL structure is very, very, very centered around we bringing in the talent no matter what it takes, and we gonna win. That's what Texas A&M. Texas A&M is all in about bringing in talent and being one of the best programs in the country, being a championship program. But I always, while reading that, I said Jimbo's not going to be the guy to get him there. But they just signed him to a whole lot of money, a whole lot of years. Why you give him 10 years? I do not understand that one. And I'm sure somebody in the room had to go, we finna buy this motherfucker out in like 3 years, right?
He was a made man, though, T. He got it done at Florida State, T.
Thanks to Bobby Bowden. I mean, okay. So what was my man's name that won behind Jimmy Johnson at the Cowboys?
Switzer.
Okay. Do you see the theme I'm talking about here? So all I'm saying is, man, I didn't understand the 10-year contract at first. I didn't get that at all. I knew they were going to buy this man out. They were going to. They were going to get out from underneath this. A&M wants to win. The names I've seen floating are Washington's head coach, DeBauer, I believe it's DeBauer, and Coach Dan Lanning at Oregon.
Heard that one too.
So Texas A&M is basically saying,
So Texas A&M is viewed as a better gig than Oregon?
I don't see how.
I don't see how either.
I don't see how. I think it's just the Texas, the money. A&M is really trying to like bring that program to the forefront. They want to bring it to the forefront. It's like they've got all the resources. It's kind of like this. This is the way I think about this. This is some old school. This is plain Southern talk right here. This is what I'm going to say about Texas A&M. This is what I think of that university as when it comes to college athletics. There's people out there who like to own a race car. Okay, you got plenty of money to go, build one. And they want all the pieces, parts. They want all the fine parts and everything. But they want to do it themselves, and they ain't really the best mechanic. And so, it's kind of like, you got toys and you want to play with them a lot. And you think it's impressive because you got a lot of toys and stuff. And they got a lot of resources at A&M. But I personally think they are going about they're not putting their resources in the right place. Jimbo Fisher was not the guy to begin with, in my opinion. They should have went with somebody who was more progressive in terms of how to coach and relate to these kids. I think Jimbo can reach these kids. You bringing in all this talent, and you got all this. You got the number one recruiting class last year. What's the disconnect? Because I hear Saban can reach the kids. Saban adapts to what these kids are on. He still sticks true to his core values, but he has figured out a way to have some sort of working relationship with these kids, and he gets the max out of these kids. Jimbo has not. He is not. So pretty much A&M knew they was going to write this man a check. This was free money. This is what this was. This was free cheese for Jimbo. For a man that, okay, we say he got a national title. I got it. I get it. But if you're going to go take that A&M job, just realize that you're going to always be compared to the Bamas, the LSUs, and all of those people. And they need to bring in the guy that can basically kind of like what Kirby did, and now he's the king of the SEC right now until, otherwise notice. You're going to have to bring in a guy that's progressive like that can push A&M forward. Fisher wasn't the guy. He never was going to be the guy. He wasn't. He just wasn't.
So, T, all right. Are these people down here at Texas A&M, are they selling themselves a dream, thinking that in the SEC they gonna ever be like that. Because as I was watching Feinbaum and some cat talk about this shit, and they got to talking about the SEC realignment shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they mentioned, okay, Georgia, Bama, Texas, Oklahoma, LSU. Who am I leaving out?
You gonna throw A&M over there? Are you
No,
talking? You talking just the teams that are flourishing?
but that before you get to their ass,
Oh yeah, for sure,
like
yeah,
it's a bunch of teams
for sure.
before you even get to them motherfuckers
That's right.
that you're gonna look at and say first, they are gonna be contenders before Texas A&M.
Texas A&M has a lot of toys to play with, but they're just not the program right now. I mean, and then I read where they're letting kids out. I think now with this news dropping, that basically the kids have a certain period of time that they can transfer out and stuff. The statement they made, which I kind of like this. I kind of like the statement they made about this hiring or about this buyout. I'm sorry, is they basically was like, hey, we got together, we analyzed, we talked to the chancellor, the president, and we said a change in the leadership of the program was necessary in order for Aggie football to reach our full potential, and they accepted his decision. It's the AD. And so you basically made this after they throttled Mississippi State yesterday, 51-10, just pounded them. Okay, they're 6-4, they're bowl eligible. So, I don't know. It's a lot of money, and I really don't understand how a guy can just go home with $70-some million of free cash. But that's what it is. Basically, I think they said $19 million is coming to him right now, and then they're gonna pay him out $7 million till 2031. So he ain't got to work through 2031, and he can get $7 million come to the doorstep every day.
Man, this shit disgusting.
It is disgusting.
T.
It is disgusting.
Them motherfuckers selling themselves a dream over there at Texas A&M.
They
some rich folks over there who want to be in the game. They want to be at the cool kids table. They want to be at Alabama's table. They want to be at Georgia's table. They want to be at Ohio State's table. They want to be at these but they ain't never been. These motherfuckers got one national championship to their name, and that shit was in 1939. What the fuck, bruh? So y'all just gonna keep blowing money fast like this? Like they were hot with Kevin Sumlin and Johnny Football. And I just watched the Untold about that shit. That was wild, by the way. That was wild. NIL, that man should have been able to do that shit he was doing. All he doing signing some autographs and all that kind of stuff. Okay. But this man was not as successful as Kevin Sumlin. And they just finna keep throwing money at stuff. But it just seems like they ain't got that kind of juice, T.
They don't.
Which brings me to Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin.
Right.
Because, okay, a lot of people are going back and forth about, mental health versus, doing your job mentality with that. Some folks a lot of people on my timeline siding with Lane Kiffin. A lot of folks who would usually never side with Lane Kiffin, because I think a lot of folks don't take no mental health seriously and stuff like that. Okay. And then some folks even say, okay, mental health is one thing, but then you still got to tell your boss what's going on with you.
Okay.
But then my thing is, hold on, let's pause right there. Y'all keep trying to sell us still to this day, even in the NIL era, that this is not pro sports. Y'all keep trying to sell us on that shit. That this is still amateur athletics. Okay. That's why the team is not paying these boys. These boys getting these NILs, okay, but technically that's not supposed to be coming from the team and all that kind of shit. So when you hear Lane Kiffin tell him, talk about, the real world and you got to show up to work, that message is real if it's coming from a real one.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the same dude, Lane Kiffin, who my brother done took y'all down through his resume plenty of time. And all the shit he even did and bouncing around and all the bullshit he leaves everywhere he goes.
Everywhere.
And then right now in this moment, as you said, now I heard Lanning.
Dan Lanning, yeah.
Heard his name tied to Texas A&M, but this boy Lane Kiffin name was brought up as well. His name was brought up for the Auburn job last year, and he tried to pass that smoke off to Deion Sanders. That was in last season. So what real world is it? It's like it's a world for these college football coaches, and then it's everybody else.
That's correct. That's correct. Always has been. I mean, even to the days of when rumors were hot and heavy about coaches leaving around bowl season. No, I'm not. I'm committed to the university, and and then about 3 days later, I am out. The money was a lot for me to not pass up.
And then they say, I tell these parents, you give me your boy, I'm gonna send you back a man and all that kind of shit. And then y'all ain't knowing you dipping on these boys.
First of all, to the Lane Kiffin thing, I want to read what these rights are about mental health. What does that say?
Yeah, because in the last few years, they act like they've been trying to do more about that. If I'm not mistaken, Ole Miss might have said, and Lane Kiffin may have pushed out there that they got some kind of program in place for mental health up there and all that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Now, if and I'm not defending Lane, but if it says in these bylaws or whatever, or whatever this document you sign, if it says in there, hey, if you are having mental health issues, we want you to do this. There's a program that says you go see therapists, you go see psychiatrists, whoever. Who do you need to go see? You go see these people. Basically, we're saying we're going to give you, this is the support outlet to go do that. Okay? Get that figured out, get that fixed. Come back when you're cleared. Whatever. Now, if this kid just said, I ain't showing up and I ain't seeing nobody, that's different. But if there's a team commitment that says, hey, you having issues, if you're having issues, here's the outlet. Okay, this outlet is provided to you, and we want you to go see this outlet. Okay, and all the kids said, yes, we will do that if we're having issues. And if the kid's not, then okay. If the document says we can kick you off the team if you're not going to follow through with this program, that's a different ball game. Got it. I got it. But so that's why I want to know what the document says. What are these rights that he's talking about? What do they say?
Yeah. I feel that. Because it gotta be something in place for that. Because I also just watched the documentary Swamp Kings about Florida and their time with Urban Meyer. And Urban Meyer, first of all, we used to joke about Florida State a lot. We call Florida State Free Shoes University, going back to what the old ball coach said. What the old ball coach Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier used to say about Florida State University, called them Free Shoes University, okay?
Yeah.
But Florida was not clean. Probably wasn't clean under Spurrier, but we knew they weren't clean under Urban Meyer ass either. Okay. Now they didn't really focus on Mr. Aaron Hernandez. They talked about one incident in that shit. Okay. But in the midst of talking about some of the shit that was going on with the arrests and all that kind of shit, Urban Meyer spoke about one player who he did kick off the team. And long story short, he ended up getting a call later on that young man was dead. And he said that stuck with him. Like, damn, I took football from this young man, and now he no longer here, and I gotta
Gotta live with that.
I gotta live with that. You feel me?
Yeah.
So in this situation, like if this young man didn't do what the fuck he was supposed to do, you had to ask yourself, okay, was it the whatever he was going through mentally that made him check out and not, do whatever their protocol is?
Right.
Which it seemed like from the tape, Jay, the head coach want to talk to you, just come fucking talk to the head coach.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But was it whatever he was going through that made him not want to talk to the coach? Or was it what Lane Kiffin alleges, you just being a pussy?
Right.
He said you just being a pussy and trying to, hide behind shit.
Right. Right.
I don't know. But what I do know is if we gonna try to call these kids out for what we assume is bullshit on their part, you gotta be able to admit that when they look at what the grown folks are doing, particularly their coaches who they idolize, and they see that their coaches will do what my brother just said, swear up and down they ain't going nowhere, and they done told your mama that they gonna take you and make you a man, and I'm gonna graduate your boy, and I'm gonna teach them not only about football, I'm gonna teach them about life. And then the first time they have an opportunity to get a better job, they dip, or like Jimbo Fisher ass can suck at his job. Suck at his job. But still end up getting more money than probably all the HBCU coaches in the SWAC combined. He probably gonna get more money for not working than all the TC Taylors of the world combined.
Yep.
That's nuts.
19th this year, 7 for the next few years. For the next 7 years. Really? Really?
Must be nice.
It must be. Must be.
Nice.
So it's a different world, man. It's a different world depending on where you stand in the hierarchy. That's just what it is. Where you stand in the hierarchy, that world that's your world.
That's what it is.
That's your world.
We talking about the real world, but it is, my brother said it's a different world.
It's a different world.
Dwayne Wayne.
Yeah.
Whitley Gilbert.
Yeah.
It's a different world.
Yeah.
From where you come from.
Yeah.
Put it on stuff.
Please subscribe to my daddy's YouTube channel because the more subscribers he gets, the more attractive he looks to sponsors. The more attractive he looks to sponsors, the more money he can make. And the more money he can make, the more money he can spend on me.